Almost all knitting starts with a slip knot, which counts as your first stitch. That's what this is, and I'm going to show you how to make one. Take the end of your yarn and place your other hand about 8 inches from that end. Wrap the yarn around your fingers and pull your fingers out of that loop that you just created and pull the yarn through to create another loop and tighten the base. That creates the slip knot. One more time. Pull your free end of the yarn out about 8 inches and wrap around your fingers, pulling the yarn through the loop you just created to create another loop, and then tighten with this hand. Now you have a slip knot. Once that's done, place that on your knitting needle and tighten by pulling the ends, but don't make it too tight. You want to make sure it's snug, but not so tight that it's going to be hard to knit your next row. One thing to note about your first stitch, the slip knot, is the tail. This is the cut end of the yarn and the length of it that goes to the first stitch. Certain cast-on methods require a long tail, which is called the long tail cast-on, and other cast-on methods don't require a long tail other than for leaving enough length to weave in at the end of your project or to sew in a seam. We will be working with a cabled cast-on, so we do not need to worry about the length of that tail other than for leaving approximately 4 inches to weave in at the end of your project. I knit and will teach the English method where the yarn is held in the right hand and thrown around the needle. Let me show you what this means. Here's that needle with the first knot, slip knot that you made as the first stitch. Hold that in your left hand, and I place my index finger at the very tip to control the placement of that stitch that I'm about to work. For my right hand, this is the end attached to the ball of yarn, and this is how I wrap it around my fingers. Over my index, under my middle, and over my ring finger, and then under my pinky. This helps me control the tension of the yarn. So I'll place my needle here, and again, my index finger is controlling the tip of the left hand needle with the stitch, and I'll use my thumb as well. And my fingers are placed around the needle like so, just to have better control and hold of that needle. My left thumb is free to hold the right needle when I throw the yarn, and I'll show you what that means. So here we go again. Over, under, over, under. That's how I do it. Some people like to wrap it around their index finger. There's a variety of methods. Experiment and see which one feels comfortable to you. There's no wrong way. To get started casting on, we're going to work that first stitch going from front to back at the base of the loop. There's that loop that you created. Put it through front to back and see how I'm controlling the needles. I have my index finger still at the tip controlling the stitch, and my middle finger bracing both needles as well as my thumb. And that's going to hold the needle when I let go of the right hand to throw the yarn around the right needle counterclockwise, and then I'm going to angle that needle to pull the loop through. And now I have 2 stitches, one on my left, one on my right. The right hand stitch I'm going to place on my left hand needle. Now I've cast on 2 stitches. To create the third stitch, you're going to actually go in between the first and second stitch, not through the base of the stitch like the first time. So through, in between, and completely through like this. Again, holding the needles with my left hand fingers, I've wrapped the yarn around and I'm going to throw it counterclockwise around my right needle. I'm going to angle the needle. So I'm going to angle it and I'm pulling the yarn so that there's enough tension there that I can catch that loop and pull it through. Now I have 3. And I'm going to place that on my left needle. Now I've cast on 3 stitches. I'm going to show this to you a few more times at regular speed. And let's go over that one more time. Front to back, through, in between the stitches, throwing my right hand yarn around the needle and controlling the tension with this so that it's tight enough where I can angle my needles and pull that yarn through. It's going to be very awkward for you at the very beginning until you get that movement down, but keep at it. The key is getting the placement of your left hand around that needle so that you don't let go of any particular stitches. Sometimes they'll come loose like that. If that's the case, just undo it and redo it again. So let's do that again. Through, wrap around counterclockwise, angle and pull the loop through and place it on your left hand needle. And you'll just keep doing that for the rest of the pattern until you come to the stitches that you need to cast on. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches.